And then what was the other thing we wanted to do? Device. Testing. Okay. Alright. Okay, quick save. Oh, sorry. You guys made a good game. I'm sorry, I've stepped away from broadcasting. I really didn't want to broadcast, but I'm faced with a serious dilemma here. I've been playing Fallout 4, as you can see, and I've been, just doing my deal. And you can have companions in Fallout 4, and I've managed to raise Cait's affinity to the maximum level. I got the Trigger Rush perk, and I've also romanced her. So, but you can see the thing is I'm sure for some of you guys that are familiar with Cait, she's really picky about a lot of the things you do, unless you're being really rude to people or picking locks, or for a portion of your relationship just doing drugs regularly or running around naked is what I've heard. She hates everything else, and so it's made it a bit of a challenge for me. To be honest, the things I've done to actually build my affinity with her really didn't include anything aside from picking locks, which I had to do not for her, but I've done for myself, just because a lot of places are they're locked up, and it makes it really difficult to get anything done unless you pick the lock. You save yourself a lot of time. I had to learn to do that. So I'm sitting here with Cait. She's been we have a romance, and we have I have maximum affinity. I have the Trigger Rush perk, and my question now is that I was looking on Google, and I actually searched in on Google Fallout 4 eating corpses around Cait after max affinity, and I've been able to survive here by with using the cannibal perk alongside things like ghoulish and kind of aqua boy. The more, you could say, unsavory elements. It's because there's no resources in the game. I have to do everything. I have to basically collect everything just to survive. And there's no resources available, so I've only been able to survive with these, with perks like this perk here. And Cait hates it when I use this perk. Okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, now that I've raised my affinity to the maximum and I've got the Trigger Rush perk, what's going to happen if I go back to being the player that I was before I romanced her? Because I intended to romance her intentionally, raise her affinity level intentionally. It wasn't a big change for me, but some things had to be changed. And a lot of the things that I did to raise her affinity weren't even on the website for her. So I think that my Cait is gone. It's Cait, but it's not the same Cait that is written about online. It's really and that's why I call it the P versus NP dilemma. There's no, once I know and do and see what happens if I do things now that her affinity's at max that she dislikes, if she's going to drop back below being romanced, if she's going to go, things like that, while I'm still, or any other activity I've been doing. and and it would be nice for me to go back to what I was doing before I attempted to do this with her, because I mean, she's really nice. You can see, I grew up, I live in an Irish home, so I mean, it's Irish living, and so that's why I want to see if anybody had any information about, you know, what would happen if you have somebody at max affinity, you've gained their perk, and then you decide to go back just because you were playing a certain way to impress them, to go back to just being you, what she's going to do, or what any companion would do after you go back to the way you were playing before you went off it and impressed her so well. And that was it. So if you have any info, send me a message, let me know. And that's the problem. You can go through it, do it, check it, learn it, and you won't know until you actually get the answer. And then once you see what the product is, the final answer, is just look at it and you know it's right or wrong. And it's just like the whole thing of actually getting the answer. It's just like this big, long, connect the dot thing, find the shortest distance, and then afterward, after you have the answer, you just go and look and it's right or it's wrong. So I wanted to ask you guys who have been watching my YouTube. I stopped for a while, but I thought this was very important. I thought that this was very much in tune, or you could say another way of looking at the P versus NP problem, because I figured to get the answer to something like this, it seems like P versus NP. You know, I'm sure that there's a simple answer that you could solve and check just as easy. You could check just as easily as you could solve. But it seems like going through it without knowing the information makes it like it's just constant in trial and error. And so I figured maybe I could circumvent the trial and error by just getting the information I needed to solve it just as easily as I could check it. Alright, so that was it. I want to cut this stream off. Thanks so much for watching. If you come by, you check it out. Send a message to Good Game. Just put it on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe. Send me a message in game. vGOODGAMev. It's all good. And that's it. I'm gonna go back. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening to my question here. And if you have any information, I'd really appreciate you telling me. Thank you. Bye-bye.